Introduction. Imagine what goes on in a woman's mind when she's ignored. You may think ignoring her means you're giving her space, but there's a lot more at play psychologically. The Stoics understood the power of self-control and restraint. They mastered it, knowing that sometimes withdrawing attention creates a stronger allure than constantly pursuing. Stick with me until the end as we dive into the psychology of ignoring a woman, dissecting each situation and exploring how this approach can change the dynamics of attraction. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Chapter 1. The girl you showed a little interest. When you show a woman just a hint of interest, followed by a well-timed pullback, it can trigger a profound psychological response. This small, deliberate display of attention is like planting a seed, a spark that's just enough to capture her curiosity, but not so much that she fully understands your intentions. By offering her only a subtle glimpse of your interest, you create a mystery around your feelings, leaving her to question whether you're genuinely interested, simply being polite, or if there's something more complex in play. This calculated hint of attention invites her to lean in and pay closer attention to you, encouraging her to wonder about who you are and what you want, which makes your presence more intriguing. This approach involves striking a delicate balance between showing that you've noticed her and stepping back just as she starts to recognize your interest. By holding back from revealing too much, you're setting the stage for her to make her own conclusions, allowing her curiosity to grow naturally. This can be particularly effective because it positions you as someone who isn't seeking validation or rushing to make an impression. Instead, you become a figure of intrigue in her mind, a person whose interest is there but not fully accessible. This mystery invites her to explore further, making her wonder what kind of person you are, why you're not more forthcoming, and what that might mean. This dynamic reflects the Stoic principle of restraint. In Stoicism, restraint isn't about suppressing feelings, but rather about maintaining control over one's actions, resisting the pull of impulse, and avoiding the trap of needing immediate gratification. The Stoics emphasized that we shouldn't let external factors, like the desire for someone's approval, dictate our behavior. By showing a restrained level of interest and then intentionally stepping back, you embody this principle of restraint, demonstrating that you are in control of your emotions and actions. This control implies that you're not someone who is easily influenced by a need for validation or by the urge to prove yourself. Instead, you content to let things unfold naturally, respecting your own rhythm and balance, which can be incredibly attractive. This measured interest creates a subtle allure, as the hint of your attention leaves her with lingering questions about your intentions. She's likely to reflect on your interactions, replaying moments in her mind and analyzing whether your interest is genuine, passing, or something in between. This curiosity, stirred by your brief engagement and subsequent distance, often leads her to want to reach out, make her own inquiries, or signal her interest as she attempts to gain clarity on where you stand. This gentle approach engages her attention without forcing anything, inviting her to invest more mentally in the potential connection. By exercising this kind of restraint and balance, you're showcasing an emotional maturity that sets you apart. In a world where many might shower her with constant attention or try to impress her with grand gestures, your subtle approach marks you as someone who values quality and intention in your connections. This quiet confidence, coupled with your restraint, conveys a sense of self-assurance. It implies that you're selective in your interests and that you don't rush into situations lightly. This patient, intentional approach allows her the space to explore her feelings at her own pace, creating a dynamic where attraction is based on mutual interest rather than on pressure or urgency. Furthermore, this measured approach allows you to cultivate a presence that is not only intriguing, but also grounded. By keeping your attention subtle and restrained, you avoid appearing overly eager or invested, which keeps her from feeling overwhelmed or pressured. Instead, she can appreciate the pace you set, sensing that you're someone who has the maturity to allow things to develop naturally without forcing outcomes. This relaxed, balanced approach makes it clear that you're secure enough to give her room, while also showing that you're not overly attached to any specific outcome. You're simply enjoying the interaction and letting things flow, which often leads to a deeper connection. The impact of this approach is often far more powerful than any overt or excessive display of interest. It creates a foundation of intrigue and subtle attraction that encourages her to invest more in getting to know you. As she wonders about you, she may feel a stronger pull to connect, curious about what lies beneath your composed exterior. This gentle pull cultivates a connection that's not just based on initial attraction, but on a growing sense of intrigue and admiration for your self-control and balanced approach. Ultimately, by balancing initial interest with an element of distance, you're creating a magnetic pull that goes beyond superficial attraction. It suggests that you're someone who brings depth, patience, and intention into your relationships. This combination of subtlety, confidence, and self-control can make a lasting impression, hinting at the depth and stability you offer in your connections, and setting the stage for a bond built on mutual respect and genuine curiosity. Chapter 2: The Girl You Made No Contact With. There are times when choosing not to make contact at all is far more powerful than any attempt to reach out. By consciously ignoring her and refraining from initiating any form of connection, you can trigger a psychological effect often referred to as the curiosity gap. This effect occurs when the absence of expected attention leaves her questioning why you haven't reached out, why you're not like everyone else who's vying for her time and attention. This approach is particularly impactful if she's accustomed to receiving attention from others. When she notices that you're not giving her that same acknowledgement, it introduces a subtle but profound sense of intrigue. She may find herself wondering why you're not reacting or engaging, and this curiosity can make her think about you far more than she would if you were reaching out directly. This lack of interaction can be surprisingly magnetic, as the mystery of your disinterest becomes a puzzle in her mind, setting her thoughts in motion with questions and imagined scenarios. The act of holding back builds a silent kind of attraction, as it leaves her with room to speculate about your thoughts and motives. By choosing not to reach out, you're creating an open mental space for her to ponder your reasons, and she may even begin to wonder if you're intentionally holding back or if you have other priorities. This approach is especially powerful because it doesn't require any active effort on your part beyond the discipline to maintain restraint. You become a kind of enigma, an unsolved mystery, which can be far more intriguing to her than any direct attempt to engage. This concept of deliberate detachment aligns strongly with Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the importance of self-control and the freedom that comes with emotional independence. In Stoicism, detachment is viewed as a way to avoid becoming overly invested in things outside your control, and by not reaching out, you're subtly conveying that you're not reliant on her response or validation. This silent act of detachment shows that you're not driven by the need for attention or recognition from her, which can be incredibly alluring. By demonstrating that your sense of confidence and self-worth doesn't depend on her reaction, you're displaying a level of independence that naturally attracts curiosity and respect. Creating this air of mystery establishes a foundation for attraction that is rooted in genuine curiosity rather than any perception of neediness or desperation. The lack of contact makes her more likely to wonder about you and to fill in the blanks on her own, often building up an idea of you in her mind that's more flattering or intriguing than anything you could have communicated directly. This hands-off approach can make a stronger impression than any deliberate effort to catch her attention because it's unexpected and sets you apart from the usual responses she might be accustomed to receiving. This approach doesn't just rely on ignoring her, it's about embodying a subtle principle of self-containment and restraint, where you're not seeking validation through her response. This restraint makes you memorable and intriguing without any additional effort, as she begins to see you as someone who is self-assured and purposefully distant. The curiosity gap that emerges from this lack of attention can lead her to find herself thinking about you, trying to decipher your intentions, and wondering what it is that makes you different. This kind of attraction is quieter yet often more compelling than any overt action you could take. In this way, by holding back from initiating contact, you're cultivating a presence that lingers in her mind without you having to actively be there. The more she wonders, the more she's drawn to the mystery of your disinterest, and the stronger the effect becomes. You're positioning yourself as someone who is confidently independent, which can be far more attractive than any immediate gesture. By embodying the principles of detachment and self-control, you make yourself memorable, creating a sense of intrigue that deepens over time and leaves her questioning and thinking about you long after the initial interaction. Chapter 3. Ignoring her after you exchange numbers. Exchanging numbers often feels like the initial step in a new connection, setting up the expectation that conversation will quickly follow. Yet, taking a step back and choosing not to reach out immediately after this exchange can amplify her interest and curiosity in a surprisingly powerful way. By holding back, you're creating a gap that gives her space to wonder about you, replaying details of your initial interaction, analyzing the exchange, and speculating about your intentions. This brief pause allows her imagination to fill in the gaps, building a sense of anticipation and subtly drawing her attention back to you without any effort on your part. This approach is about cultivating a balanced dynamic right from the start. By exchanging numbers, you've shown enough interest to spark initial attraction and curiosity, but by waiting to reach out, you avoid appearing overly eager or as if you're hinging your time and attention solely on her response. Instead, you project a sense of patience and self-assurance, signaling that you're someone who is in control of his own pace and who has enough confidence not to be in a rush. The delay adds a hint of mystery to your persona, encouraging her to think about why you're not immediately available and piquing her interest as she considers what you might be up to. The Stoics deeply valued the principles of patience and the art of timing. In their view, effective action came not from impulsiveness, but from knowing when to wait and when to move forward. By practicing this waiting to act approach, you're embodying this Stoic ideal, showing that you're not governed by impulses or external expectations. Your choice to delay reaching out reflects a sense of discipline and control that can be attractive. You're quietly sending a message that your time is valuable and that you're not simply available at a moment's notice, which can make her perceive you as someone whose presence is a privilege rather than a guarantee. This balance of showing interest and then stepping back creates a dynamic that keeps her engaged without overwhelming her. Instead of feeling pressured or hurried, she's drawn into a game of intrigue. It shows that you're thoughtful and deliberate in your actions, a person who values quality interactions over immediate gratification. This patience subtly implies that you're accustomed to handling things at your own pace, which makes her even more curious about who you are and what you're looking for. The result is a more natural build-up of anticipation on her end, as she wonders when you'll reach out and why you haven't already. This period of subtle distance can have a surprisingly powerful impact on her perception of you. It signals that you're not driven by the need for constant attention or validation and that you have other fulfilling pursuits in your life. The intrigue generated by your delayed response often makes her more eager to connect, as she becomes increasingly curious about what you're doing, who you are, and what's taking up your time. This psychological gap invites her to invest more emotionally in the budding connection, heightening her interest and anticipation without you having to push for it. In this way, by carefully balancing initial attraction with a period of thoughtful distance, you're setting a strong foundation for mutual respect and interest. This approach helps her see you as someone who is confident in his own timing, not reactive or rushed. By holding back, you're allowing her to feel the allure of uncertainty, which can naturally draw her closer as she feels the pull of curiosity. This initial pattern of interaction serves as a subtle yet effective way of demonstrating that you know how to navigate relationships with intention and poise, which can ultimately create a more authentic and compelling connection. Chapter 4. Ignoring her when you have red flags. If you start noticing red flags early on in a relationship, stepping back and choosing to ignore her may be the most prudent and empowering decision you can make. This disengagement isn't about being dismissive or cruel. Rather, it's a subtle yet highly effective way of asserting that you will not compromise your standards or values for the sake of convenience or fleeting attraction. By pulling back when you observe concerning behavior, you send a clear, unmistakable message that you are discerning, capable of recognizing issues early, and unwilling to overlook them for the sake of temporary enjoyment or excitement. Ignoring her in the presence of red flags is a strong boundary that reinforces your commitment to maintaining your self-respect, emotional clarity, and peace of mind in any relationship. Women are often drawn to men who demonstrate a clear sense of self and strong boundaries. When you make the choice to step back at the first sign of problematic behavior, you're not just showing that you are observant, but also that you are independent, have self-control, and possess the wisdom to prioritize your long-term happiness over short-term attraction or emotional impulse. This approach speaks volumes about your maturity and understanding of relationships. It reflects a mindset that values emotional peace, stability, and fulfillment over the transient thrill of unresolved tension or the potential chaos of ignoring early warning signs. By holding your ground, you show that you are committed to cultivating relationships that nurture and align with your core values, rather than engaging in those that might lead to unnecessary drama or future regret. Stoicism, with its focus on self-discipline, self-awareness, and the preservation of inner peace, offers an ideal framework for navigating these kinds of situations. By choosing not to invest energy into a relationship that raises red flags, you are actively practicing Stoic principles and placing your well-being above the distractions of ungrounded emotional reactions. You are clearly showing that you value stability, clarity, and healthy, balanced dynamics more than the uncertainty or emotional turmoil that often accompany a relationship that doesn't serve your best interests. This act of withdrawing is not a weakness, but a powerful declaration of self-protection, an affirmation that you will not hesitate to walk away from relationships that could lead to disappointment or emotional harm. Taking this stance not only helps you remain true to your values, but also demonstrates a high level of emotional maturity and resilience. By establishing that you won't entertain a relationship that doesn't meet your standards, you are presenting yourself as a person who understands his worth and will not settle for less than what he truly deserves. Women often find this kind of emotional stability and strength extremely attractive because it signals that you are someone who values authenticity and depth over superficial attraction or transient emotional highs. Your actions show that you seek a connection based on respect, integrity, and shared values rather than one built on convenience or momentary chemistry. This confidence and emotional control are magnetic, drawing those who appreciate maturity and depth into your life. Ignoring her when you sense red flags is not only an act of self-preservation, but also one of empowerment. It prevents you from becoming entangled in relationships that could drain your energy, destabilize your sense of self, or create unnecessary chaos in your life. By choosing to disengage, you prioritize your own peace of mind, emotional clarity, and future happiness. You make space for relationships that align with your ideals and contribute positively to your life, rather than engaging in relationships that offer more turbulence than fulfillment. This decision lays the foundation for future connections built on mutual respect, clear communication, and shared purpose, creating an environment where only genuinely compatible partnerships can grow. By taking a firm stand in this manner, you actively shape your life in a way that fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. You teach those around you, including potential partners, the importance of respect, self-awareness, and authenticity in forming connections. Ultimately, your decision to walk away from relationships with red flags paves the way for more enriching, balanced, and fulfilling connections that enhance the quality of your life, strengthen your resilience, and bring you closer to the kind of relationship you truly desire. Chapter 5. Ignoring her when she has red flags. When she begins to display red flags, choosing to ignore her becomes an essential act of self-protection and self-preservation. This approach isn't about manipulation or engaging in passive-aggressive behavior. Rather, it's a deliberate and thoughtful step to safeguard your own well-being, stability, and mental health. Ignoring her in this context is a boundary-setting practice that clearly communicates that you won't engage in or tolerate a relationship dynamic that threatens your inner peace or sense of self-respect. If her actions indicate signs of manipulation, emotional instability, or toxicity, stepping back sends a message you value yourself enough to avoid entanglement in negativity or drama. This form of detachment aligns deeply with the principles found in Stoic philosophy, which emphasize maintaining a harmonious and balanced inner world. In Stoicism, one's peace of mind is a priority, and external circumstances should be managed in a way that supports one's inner tranquility. By choosing to withdraw from someone who exhibits red flags, you are not only preserving your peace, but also exercising control over what and who you allow into your life. This act of self-restraint reveals strength and self-respect, underscoring that you will not compromise your values or mental health for the sake of preserving a connection that may be harmful. By ignoring her under these circumstances, you're not cutting her off entirely. Rather, you're providing space for her to recognize the impact of her behavior. If she genuinely values the connection, this boundary may encourage her to reflect on her actions. Sometimes, people need distance to gain perspective and understand how their actions affect others. Your withdrawal is an opportunity for her to evaluate her own behavior and consider if she is willing to engage in a healthier, more respectful manner. This is not about punishment, but about fostering an environment where only mutual respect and positive growth are welcomed. Your decision to step back also strengthens your own commitment to self-respect and reinforces that you will only accept relationships that contribute positively to your life. When she sees that you're not easily swayed or manipulated, it sends a strong message: you are a person of conviction, someone who knows his own worth and won't settle for anything less than respect and stability. If she truly cares for the connection, this boundary may prompt her to address any negative patterns or toxic behaviors that are surfacing. Setting boundaries in response to red flags conveys a powerful, unspoken message about your standards and non-negotiable values. You are establishing that your peace of mind, stability, and mental health are of the utmost importance, and you will protect these aspects of yourself from any influence that might harm them. Such a stance does not require dramatic statements or confrontational gestures. It is a calm, assertive declaration that you value your well-being and won't compromise on this. By withdrawing from toxic behavior, you are giving yourself the space to focus on healthier relationships that bring positivity and growth into your life. In the end, ignoring someone who exhibits red flags isn't about ending the possibility of a relationship, it's about creating conditions that demand respect and emotional maturity. If she is willing to work on herself and change these negative patterns, then the potential for a healthier connection can emerge. However, if her behavior remains unchanged, you have already demonstrated your willingness to step away and prioritize your own emotional health, signaling that you're capable of walking away from relationships that are detrimental. By holding firm to these boundaries, you cultivate a life that attracts healthier connections built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. This approach encourages both you and those around you to grow and evolve in positive ways. As you prioritize your own standards and values, you're creating an environment that not only fosters respect, but also paves the way for genuine, fulfilling relationships. Showing that you're willing to walk away from toxicity ultimately makes you more attractive, as it highlights your independence, resilience, and commitment to living a balanced, purposeful life. Through this commitment, you're fostering an atmosphere where only true, positive connections are welcome, a space where you can thrive and be truly appreciated for who you are. Chapter 6: When you're in your man cave. Taking time for yourself, what some call the man cave time, isn't just a chance to unwind. It's a powerful practice that can significantly improve both your sense of self and the dynamics of your relationship. This dedicated solitude is not about avoiding her or signaling disinterest. Rather, it's a purposeful investment in your personal growth, interests, and overall well-being. By setting aside space for yourself, you're showing that a healthy relationship balances connection and independence. Whether you're advancing your career, dedicating hours at the gym, pursuing a favorite hobby, or learning a new skill, you're sending a message that personal development is a central priority. This shows her that you're a man who values his own growth and doesn't depend on others to feel fulfilled or purposeful. In Stoic philosophy, self-reliance and mastery of one's inner world are fundamental to building a resilient life. By retreating to your man cave and investing time in yourself, you're embodying these principles in a way that signals emotional independence and inner strength. A focus on self-reliance allows you to remain grounded, balanced, and resilient, qualities that attract and inspire others. She'll see that you don't require constant companionship or validation to feel complete because your life is driven by purpose and guided by self-direction. This kind of independence not only fosters admiration and respect, but also builds trust, as she recognizes that you are steady and not easily influenced by external pressures or momentary distractions. Your man cave approach benefits both you and your relationship. For you, it reinforces your sense of self, creating a time to recharge and realign with your values. For her, it enhances the appreciation she has for the time you do share, as she perceives that your independence makes your presence all the more valuable. When you are focused on your journey, whether through professional growth, fitness, learning, or simple hobbies, you're recentering yourself and bringing fresh energy to your relationship. Emerging from this space with renewed purpose and clarity, you are in a better position to be fully present, bringing the best version of yourself to the relationship. This dynamic of balanced connection and independence establishes a foundation of mutual respect and admiration, as she witnesses firsthand what it means to be in a relationship with a man who values self-growth and purpose. By dedicating yourself to self-improvement, you cultivate a quality that naturally draws her closer. She sees the strength of your commitment to intentional living. This focus not only strengthens your relationship, but also builds personal resilience, equipping you to face challenges with a clear and steady mind, benefiting all areas of your life. Moreover, this approach fosters a relationship dynamic that encourages each partner to maintain their individuality. She may even feel inspired to pursue her own growth, exploring new interests or developing passions that nurture her well-being. In this way, man cave time becomes a shared value within the relationship, where both of you prioritize growth, self-care, and personal fulfillment. When you reconnect with her after investing in yourself, it's with a refreshed outlook and sense of purpose, enhancing the relationship with the mutual respect and admiration that comes from seeing each other evolve. By showing her the value of self-investment, you inspire a balance between independence and intimacy that creates depth in your relationship. This dynamic shows her that a fulfilling relationship doesn't require you to be constantly intertwined, but is instead enriched by each person's commitment to self-fulfillment and individual growth. You're demonstrating that you can love and support each other's personal journeys, drawing closer without compromising your unique goals. Ultimately, embracing this time of solitude and self-investment strengthens your connection with yourself and, in turn, with her. Your independence, confidence, and ambition create a magnetic presence that makes her appreciate who you are as a partner and as an individual. As she sees the positive impact of your commitment to growth, she's likely to be drawn even closer to you, fostering a relationship that is meaningful, strong, and deeply fulfilling. Through your dedication to self-improvement, you're building a relationship where both of you remain vibrant, motivated individuals who come together out of genuine interest rather than need. This foundation allows for a connection that is both dynamic and resilient, as each of you is committed to growing and supporting each other in the process. In this way, that man cave is more than a retreat, it's a commitment to being the best version of yourself, enriching both your personal life and your relationship. Chapter 7, The Aftermath, When She Comes Chasing. Now, let's explore what unfolds when ignoring her begins to produce the desired outcome. As she starts reaching out, you find yourself in a rare and empowering position. This is an opportunity not just to reshape the dynamic, but to realign it in a way that reflects your values, intentions, and true self. By taking the lead with confidence, purpose, and calm authority, you show her a version of yourself that is both self-assured and thoughtful, grounded in a sense of intentionality and self-respect. Here, the Stoic virtues of patience, self-restraint, and intention come into play, serving as essential tools that allow you to handle this reconnection with clarity and ease, avoiding impulsive reactions or missteps. Instead, these virtues guide you to respond calmly and deliberately, reinforcing the steady, composed character you've shown thus far. When she begins making efforts to reconnect, it can be tempting to rush into renewed contact or react with enthusiasm. However, maintaining a steady, deliberate pace in your responses helps set the tone for a healthier and more balanced connection. By staying calm and measured in your interactions, you avoid reacting out of a need for validation or out of excitement. This moment is less about eliciting a specific response from her and more about upholding your own standards and boundaries. By emphasizing that your worth isn't defined by external approval, you convey a quiet confidence that is both dignified and appealing. Your restraint creates a sense of emotional stability, demonstrating that you are in control of yourself and aren't easily influenced by the situation. The way you carry yourself in this period of reconnection signals to her that you're someone who values depth and stability over fleeting attraction or excitement. By not rushing or overcompensating, you show that you're a reliable presence in her life, someone who doesn't rely on external circumstances to feel validated. This kind of presence naturally encourages her to invest more emotionally, knowing that you won't react impulsively or change with every passing mood. You become an emotionally resilient figure to her, someone who offers grounded, steady support without trying to manipulate the direction of the relationship. Through your calm self-assurance, you present yourself as an anchor she feels drawn to, creating a dynamic based on mutual respect rather than dependence or emotional gains. The Stoic approach here, staying true to one's values, practicing restraint, and maintaining inner control, encourages a relationship built on authenticity. Your composure and self-reliance emphasize that you're not playing games to secure her affection. Instead, you're prioritizing a connection that honors individuality and independence on both sides, allowing each of you to bring your full selves to the relationship without pressure. This authenticity creates a sense of trust and respect, setting you apart from others who might attempt to force or manipulate the outcome of a relationship. She sees that you're secure enough to give her space to reflect on her own feelings, a quality that makes your attention feel more genuine and freely given. As you continue to interact in this measured, thoughtful manner, you reinforce the idea that you're not looking for superficial connection or empty validation. Instead, you're building something meaningful, grounded in mutual understanding and respect. By staying true to your values and keeping your goals at the forefront, you prevent the relationship from derailing your own purpose or sense of self. You're creating a foundation that draws her closer without requiring you to compromise or abandon your principles. This grounded, unwavering approach not only enhances the depth and quality of the bond you're forming, but also ensures that both of you have the space to grow as individuals, enriching the connection in a way that feels fulfilling on a deeper level. Ultimately, this approach lays the groundwork for a relationship that is sustainable and meaningful, fostering a connection that flourishes because it respects each partner's independence. By continuing to embody these values, you're creating a bond that isn't dependent on drama or mind games, but instead rests on genuine commitment, honesty, and emotional integrity. She sees that you're someone with the strength to walk away from anything that compromises your peace, yet open enough to build a relationship that's aligned with your own purpose and aspirations. This integrity, combined with a steadfast sense of self, adds depth and resilience to the relationship, making it both emotionally rich and truly enduring. In the end, you're not only creating a dynamic that enhances mutual respect, but also positioning yourself as someone who values the quality of the connection over any quick or shallow success. This balance between being open and self-assured is what sets the stage for a fulfilling relationship that thrives on authenticity, drawing her closer in a way that respects both of your individual journeys. Through this balanced, principled approach, you foster a meaningful connection that stands the test of time, one that blossoms through mutual respect, genuine interest, and a shared sense of purpose, making the relationship a source of strength, joy, and lasting satisfaction for both of you. Remember to share your own thoughts or experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and connect over shared insights. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on even more valuable insights into psychological tactics, Stoic wisdom, and proven strategies for building stronger, lasting relationships. Join our community today. Your journey to deeper understanding and mastery starts here, and we're excited to be part of it with you.